Hi, I'm just sharing this because I've only just very recently come across Shady Anderson during my YouTube activities, and I have made a video in support of him which I'll share under this link, along with a couple of other videos of interest which I've made mainly for guidance for British people like Shady Anderson, you know, myself, and the many genuine humanitarians among us, you know, of Britain, people of compassion, who have, through whatever reason, mostly our own life experiences, have found the courage to get up on the public platform and speak out. Okay, and that does not come without its risks, and, you know, we do suffer attacks. And I was really disturbed, you know, that because he'd replied to my comment, a really nice reply, and, you know, the man had been expressing his grief, sharing his grief at the recent loss of his brother, explaining why he hasn't been able, you know, made any YouTube videos for over a month. And so this was his first video for over a month, which he's been mourning the loss of his brother, and a lot of the comments were, you know, expressing their empathy for his loss. And yes, he referred to this guy, I don't know if I've got his video up here now, what was his name, Reverend Simon Sideways, a total Zionist, you know. And alright, he used the F word. Oh my gosh, you know, what a terrible thing. People can't bear to hear the F word, but, you know, they can bear to have the children described as unimportant human beings. The legal definition of minor, okay, that is applied to children in this country. So, you know, here's a man who actually cares about children, who cares about the people of Britain, who cares about what is going on in this world and what's happening to our country and indeed our whole planet, okay? And his video was taken down. It was taken down because, you know, he gave a reply to the comment on my video, on his video, you know, that I put to my comment, and I went to like that, you know, to like that comment, to show, you know, to show a response to it, and that's what I found, that all this content is not available on this country's domain. Oh, what? So which country is it available in then? And why was it taken down? And that is the question that he's asking here. Is why? What? Because he criticised the so-called Reverend Simon Sideways? Because he said the F word. You know, and like the man says here, the stuff on YouTube, really terrible, horrible stuff, you know, pro-Zionist stuff, supporting crimes against Palestine, stuff supporting ISIS. It's all there, you know, far-right extremism in the form of, you know, Britain First and the Trump campaign supporters and what have you, that advocate persecuting people because they're a Muslim, or because they're gay, or because they're black, or because they're so-called left-wing. You know, all of these things freely available on YouTube, and yet this man's video was taken down, judged offensive to some audiences. Well, I'm sorry, anybody could say that any video on YouTube is offensive to some audiences. You know, perhaps Zionists would consider my videos offensive to them, but, you know, they do not form the majority of the global population, do they? Or indeed the British public. So it needs to be silenced because he's offending Zionists and their supporters, basically. That's the basic gist of it, isn't it? And like he says here, you know, he felt heartened and strengthened and supported by the multitude of people that had commented on his video, this video that's been taken down now, expressing their sympathies and giving their support to him. he needs that support. Okay, he isn't a BBC newsreader on 100k plus a year. He isn't surrounded by security, MI5 security, like the Zionists are, and their shills. He's on his own. He's an ordinary British citizen. So YouTube has to attack him and take his video down, which I think is absolutely disgusting. And yeah, shame on you, YouTube. Shame on you if you cannot support the humanitarians of this world. If you cannot support the people of care, conscience and compassion, as certainly Shady Anderson is. And I find it very, very disturbing, but I'm sharing this now because understand, people, this is evidence. This is evidence. Don't forget, Tommy Robinson, so-called, okay, because that's not his real name. He can't use his real name. I use my real name. People have criticised me for not showing my face, you know. But I use my real name. If you want to see my face, just write my name into Facebook and you'll see a photo. You'll see photos of me on my Facebook. Deborah Mahmoodieh. There's only one Deborah Mahmoodieh in Britain. In the world, actually. There's one Deborah Mahmoodieh. So, you know, you won't get me mixed up with anybody else. You want to see what I look like? Go and have a look on there. You'll see a photo of me. Click on the photo. It's tagged. It shows my face, Deborah Mahmoodieh. I don't show my face. People say I'm pretty. Apparently I look young for my age. I don't want all these comments. I'm not here to self-promote. I'm here to promote you, the British people, the children's rights. That's what I'm here for. Doesn't matter what I look like, does it? I'm a real person. I use my real name. Alright, Shady Anderson, he is who he is. Okay, he's showing his face. People know him. He's a known person. You know, a lot of these people on YouTube, the people who make comments, the people who complain, they're using sock puppet names, sock puppet accounts. They aren't really real people. Why, you know, I've asked Facebook and YouTube countless times, why are you listening to sock puppets? How is it that a sock puppet can have influence to take down a real individual's YouTube videos? On the strength of what? He wasn't promoting hatred. He was expressing grief for the loss of his brother, and he was expressing concern that people like this Reverend Simon Sideways is misguiding, misdirecting, misleading the British public with his Zionist agenda. Okay? He's anti-humanitarian. So, you know, this is just one example of the kind of attack that British people are facing right now. Okay, this is just one example of the kind of attack that British people are facing. You know, this is a covert kind of attack. Again, I'll leave you the link to this landmark Demonology. This is the kind of stuff that's being levelled at the middle and upper classes. The professional people of Britain are being covertly mind controlled by organisations like Landmark. Apparently the alleged light of Scientology, as if Scientology has actually got any real light other than the light of the gold, the physical gold that it worships. Certainly it doesn't follow the universal golden light of intelligence. And what do they preach? What is it they're teaching people? Ultimately, they're teaching people to be a psychopath, or to wallow in cognitive dissonance, or else to become a Stockholm Syndrome victim. of theirs, so then they'll be their volunteers and recruit more people to, you know, fall into their trap. I'll leave you the video. Check it out. Understand what is going on. We're talking about a multifaceted attack against the human being on every level. Okay, now I've got a few links here to share. So, you know, this is one concern. Tory austerity to 120,000 deaths. It's actually double that figure. People have been driven to suicide. People have been driven to worsening of their health that does lead to death directly as a result of economic terrorism. That's what it is. It's not economic murder, is it? It is murder, but it's economic terrorism. Let's call it for what it is, because that is a terrorist act. If you're going to introduce policies that mean people end up homeless, people end up with no income, they end up queuing up outside a food bank, they end up in hospital, they end up being driven to suicide. That's terrorism. That is terrorism. What worse can a terrorist do except rob you of your home? So, you know, I've got these links here. You know, here we go. David Cameron preaching here austerity, permanent austerity, his commitment to the cause of permanent austerity. That is what, make no mistake, people of Britain, that is what this government is all about. That's what Parliament is all about right now, a commitment to permanent austerity. That means forever. That means your children are going to be facing what? But, you know, who's here? Who's here to help, to distract people from that? Him, standing by the British flag. You know, he sits there. He always has a look, the British flag in the background. He supports Tommy Robinson, Britain First. Yeah, don't bother thinking about your children's future. Don't bother looking at the real causes of the problems in this world. People who are following a Luciferian stroke Zionist cult, C-U-L-T, cult. That is what they are following. A cult of the cult of austerity, the cult of prosperity for the demonic criminal few. Who, apparently, you know, if you're a banker, a politician, a professional, oh, you're above the law. That is Luciferian law of might equals right to do as thy will. That is the law they're following. Make no bones about it. You know, this man has the audacity to use the British flag that men like my grandfather gave their lives for the sake of our human rights. Okay? And he has the audacity to use it to support, essentially, a Nazi consciousness. Because make no mistake about it, that is what these Zionists do support, a Nazi consciousness. Of course they do. Because, you know, here we have Palestine. Look, this is what it's been, this is what they were given. Oh, look, they've took all of that, they've halved Gaza, shrunk that, and this is what it is today. A series of Israeli military checkpoints. The people are being held captive in concentration camps. If you're a Palestinian, you live here, and you want to get to there, you're going to have to go through how many Israeli military checkpoints? Oh no, sorry, you can't go. You can't go. No, you're going to have to go back home. That's what it's all about. You're talking concentration camps. You're talking people being brutally attacked on every single level. You're talking weapons like phosphorus and depleted uranium being used against innocent men, women and children. Babies being bombed in their incubators in hospitals. Okay? That is what they did. This is an atrocity. This is a crime against humanity. British Parliament supports it. It supports it. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder that they're supporting austerity now? Is it any wonder that over 200,000 British people have been driven to early death and suicide by economic terrorists? You know, and here we have You know, this news was in 2011, exact same time as the so-called London riots were taking place. Apparently the result of a benefit culture, not the result of a British citizen suspect being gunned down and shot dead by police on London streets. No, that had nothing to do with it. Apparently it was all about the benefit culture, because, you know, that's what this guy would have us believe. That is what they promote. Oh, we need to get rid of the benefit system, we need to get rid of human rights, we need to get rid of the NHS, the education system, because that's what's attracting immigrants. It's all just there to attract immigrants. If you get rid of them, you'll have no immigrant problem. Never mind that you'll end up with 250,000 people dead in the space of how many years? Less than a decade. People who should be here, who would be here. But that is basically the gist of what they're doing. They wish to distract public attention from the real criminals and their crimes, and distract us from the reasonable, the righteous solution of standing up for our rights and standing up for our children's rights, like implementing child protection directives. No, instead we just need to understand that all our problems are due to immigrants, poor immigrants, never mind the multitude of professional immigrants that this country imports because they can't be bothered to train, to pour any investment into the British youth to train them to do professional jobs. No, the professional people, they're the ones that are robbing people of jobs. But, you know, don't bother standing up for your rights. Don't bother standing up for your children's rights. Don't listen to Shady Anderson. Listen to him. Because, look, you know, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, he is an offence. Britain First are an offence to my grandfather. There they were, with people following them with Nazi stickers on them, Nazi tattoos, doing Nazi salutes. How does that work? Explain it to me. Explain it to me, Simon, Reverend Simon Sideways. Explain to me how people who obviously support Nazis can be supporting Tommy Robinson, who is a Zionist. He says, I am a Zionist. How is that possible? Yeah, because you lot know. You know for sure, don't you, that Zionists are anti-Semitic. That's what they are. And you lot know it, don't you? And that's why you're supporting them. Because you're not a true Christian. True Jews understand that Zionists are anti-Jewish. They're anti-Semitic. True Jews understand that. True Christians understand it. And as for you calling yourself a Christian, well, you know, I have witnessed an event of golden light being. People think I'm crazy, I'm mad. Oh yeah, oh don't be daft, you know, you must have been dreaming, hallucinating. Well, I don't drink, I don't take drugs, I'm not on any medical drugs, I wasn't on anything at the time either. 26 years ago, it's still with me, clear as day, I'll never forget it. It was, next to giving birth to my son, it was the most important, significant event of my life, okay? And who are you to talk about Christianity or Jesus? Where's your experience? Have you survived 17 years child abuse and still got love and compassion in your heart for your fellow human being? No. No. This, how depleted uranium is killing civilians. Okay? We're talking serious birth defects. These birth defects are minor compared to the amount of children that are born dead. Severely deformed. So bad that the women of Fallujah have been told to stop having babies. But, you know, don't bother looking at that. Look at these. Look at these tits and bums and boobs. You know, depleted uranium is a serious, serious problem. And then we've got the absolute lies, proven, known lies about that justified the invasion of Iraq. Apparently to liberate the people. Yeah, they're so liberated that Muslim Iraqi youth are being decapitated in public as public part of public entertainment by ISIS for crimes like watching football or playing a rock guitar. You know, that is what Britain has done for Iraq. It's disgusting. Parliament, you are a disgusting, despicable corporation. Because that's what you are, aren't you? You're a corporation. You serve the enemy of Britain, Zionists, the enemy of Jews, Zionists, the enemy of Christianity, Zionists, the enemy of true Islam, Zionists. And you want to know what true Islam is? Have a look at my Dodi, Diana and Dodi video. Again, I'll leave the link to it under this. So, I've just got a couple more things to share here. You know, this is what's happening to the NHS. As the NHS is suffering huge cuts, literally being stripped bare, its assets being sold to all and sundry. As the Tory minister said, I forget his name now, was it Michael Meach? I forget. Apparently, you know, the NHS will be shown no mercy, he told a corporate gathering to discuss the slicing up of the NHS. Going to be shown no mercy. And it's been reflected. The amount of suicides among NHS staff is rising exponentially. And that is a severe cause, should be a severe cause of concern to all British people. But no, 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 no. Instead, get out there in full support of Zionist Tommy Robinson. Don't forget to sign your petition. How many hundred thousands of you have signed a petition in support of Tommy Robinson? How many of you people are standing up for British nurses and questioning this austerity? And, you know, it's things like this. It does fucking outrage me. Oh, have I offended you by swearing? Oh my gosh. You know, that's not swearing. That's not swearing, is it? David Cameron said, asking for austerity forever. That isn't swearing. The whole country should have been up in arms about that. But no, instead the whole country's out in full force because poor Tommy Robinson's been put in prison. You want to go and look at how many people are in prison because they've spoken out against child abuse. You know, these are serious, serious, serious issues. And when we've got the Ministry of Defence, you know, in 2011, like I say, they had to apologise to Parliament. I'll leave you the links. I'll leave you all these links under this video. I don't talk nonsense. I do my research. I know what I'm talking about. I've been on at this for 26 years. Okay, and before that. But, you know, they were told that depleted uranium, DU weapons, had been through the legally required Geneva Convention weapons review. But it hasn't. A Labour MP asked to see the review, and the Armed Forces Minister has been forced to apologise. He was forced to apologise. Oh, sorry. I lied. There has been no weapons review on depleted uranium. You know, that is serious. That's serious. That means that Britain's been using untested, experimenting on the Iraqi people and the Syrian people, the Libyan people, the Afghani people. We know that also Israel has been using depleted uranium in Gaza. And this is what I mean about how they are fundamentally anti-Jewish. Because if you're going to use depleted uranium in Palestine, that dust is going to spread everywhere throughout the whole of Israel. It's going to affect everybody, including Jews. It is really, really so serious, and this has been done in my name as a British citizen. Now, to me, that's treason. That's a criminal government. Tony Blair is a war criminal. He's a war criminal. I mean, this article by Professor Michael Trzodowski, read it. I'll leave you the link to it. Tony Blair is a war criminal. He should be up on charges. Crimes against humanity. The same with Benjamin Netanyahu, George Bush, Senior and Junior. These are the facts, okay? These are the facts. You know, these are just a few of my videos that I make. Why? Why do I make them? To warn people, to wake people up. Alright, I repeat myself sometimes in a few of them. So what? We need the repetition, because we're repeatedly being fed this anti-human, anti-Semitic rhetoric of the Zionists. You know, and how long? Depleted uranium has a half-life of 5 billion years nearly. 5 billion years! And they're spreading it willy-nilly over the planet. Okay? They're spreading it willy-nilly over the planet. This is what it's doing. That's the least of it. Never mind the leukemias, the cancers in the adult population, the countless babies that are born dead and severely deformed. I've spared you those pictures. I've spared you of the children crippled. The extraordinarily high incidences. You know, these are the things that people like him, Tommy Robinson supporters, Britain First supporters, they don't want to look at that. Because according to Tommy Robinson supporters, good, they would say, good. Annihilate these Muslims. Nuke the lot. Nuke the lot. I've heard Trump supporters say it. Nuke them. They want to return to the days of lynching. They want to return to the days of absolute insanity and sadism, of lawlessness. They don't like human rights. Human rights, oh, what? We've got to respect these people as human beings, when actually they're a Muslim or they're a poor immigrant. It's seriously, and you know, when it comes to the point that we have to witness people like Shady Anderson have his simple homemade video, you know, being taken down. I mean, that is just, I am so disgusted. It is actually heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And you know, most of that video was devoted to the memory of his brother, and what can I say? It's evidence. Take it as evidence, people. Take it as evidence. Take it as evidence. It's evidence about what the kind of attack that the people who are speaking sense and sanity are presently being bombarded with. Myself, you know, I can't even go into it. The levels of attack that I've experienced, you know, online gang stalking, spying on my Facebook, even spying on my home, so-called friends and family suddenly distancing themselves. Oh, we could be attacked, you know, because of you. We're stepping away from you. That's cowardism, absolute cowardism, to the point where I've just got no respect. I've got no respect. I'm losing respect for people. I mean, alright, I still love them. as human beings, what can I do? In that sense, perhaps, if I'm a slave to anything in this world, it is to love. But that isn't slavery, is it? This world makes it into slavery. It makes it into, if you love and you care, you're going to live a life of misery. You're going to live in poverty. You're going to face attack. So my heart goes out to Shady Anderson, and again to all his supporters. Now's the time to ramp up the support, ramp up the shares, speak out, speak out. The people of compassion and courage, where you see them being attacked now, because it's a heavy, heavy attack. And don't forget, like I say, this Zionist media has full control. They've got armies at their disposal. You know, they've got whole rooms, offices full of internet trolls. That's their job, to be, what, 50 or 100 fake online identities. That's what they do. They're employing them full time to do it. That's how Cambridge Analytica operates. That's how it's successful. It gives people the impression that, oh yeah, these people have got loads of support. And the other thing that they do is they very nastily attack and humiliate and condemn anybody who questions their rhetoric, you know, in really vile, aggressive ways. Like myself, for example, making videos about the lack of child protection in Britain, I get accused of being a paedophile. You know, that's the kind of comments they'll write on YouTube. Deborah Mahmoudi has been convicted of possessing 800 indecent images of children. That is what they'll write. Okay, I've never been convicted of any crimes against children, possessing decent images of children. Oh, Deborah Mahmoudi has had 3 children removed from her care. I've got 1 child never removed from my care. These are the absolute lies, and they tell such terrible lies that people believe them. You know, go to the police, report them to YouTube, nothing gets done. Oh no, the police, no, we can't investigate them. Oh, but they can come and arrest me for my YouTube videos. You know, they can take my YouTube videos down. You know, it really is persecution. It's persecution. And I'm sick of it. I am sick. More than them, what actually depresses me, it isn't the attackers. I expect that, okay? I can cope with that. I'll stand up to them. I'll confront them, okay? But what deeply upsets me, what causes the most damage, is the absolute ignorance and apathy and lack of support from the general public, and especially when that includes members of my own family and community of friends. That is really, really, really deeply, deeply, deeply upsetting. It is so, so upsetting. I'm having to move again home. Why? Because present landlord is again concerned about my activities and what I do online, and how that might put their home at risk. Honestly, I'm a risk for trying to warn people about the risks of having our human rights scrapped. That's what this Tory government want to do. They've pledged and promised to scrap our human rights. And you call me a risk for asking questions about that, and for identifying the criminal consciousness behind that proposal. Oh yeah, they're going to wait. They're going to wait till Brexit is complete. Of course. I knew the moment that evil piece of work, David Cameron, said, oh, we're going to scrap human rights. I knew that they were going to take us out of the EU. But EU referendum hadn't even mentioned I knew that they were going to take us out of the EU, because that was the only way that they could scrap our human rights, is by taking us out of the EU. And I tell you, once they're gone, well, are you going to fight another 2 world wars to get them back again, people of Britain? What can I say? What can I say? I am in despair. I am in despair. And I'm so upset, so deeply upset that now he's being attacked. It's just absolutely disgusting. People of Britain, get real. Get real. Listen to sense and sanity. Find some compassion. Connect with your humanity. Lose the hate, the hateful rhetorics. Stand with the human being. Stand with your children. Stand up for their rights. Arrest the criminals of Parliament. Arrest the criminals of finance. Arrest the criminals controlling our society. And tell these Zionists to get out of Parliament. Remove them from our financial circles. Remove their influence. End their control of our Bank of England, because they are a criminal, anti-human, anti-Christian, anti-Muslim, and yes, anti-Jewish force of power. And it is high time that this world stood up to the criminals, the Luciferians, because that is what Zionists are, Luciferians. They are not Jewish. They support the law of might equals right to do as thy will. That is the Luciferian law. A Christian society upholds universal law, God's law of right equals might to do as thy will. God's law that gave us our common law and our human rights, universal law. And if they cannot stand by it, if they will persecute and rob Palestinian people of their lands, their homes, their rights, and put them in concentration camps, and Britain First thinks that that's the way to help our country, is by supporting criminals that will do that to innocent men, women and children on nothing more than the grounds that they're a Palestinian and a Muslim, or even a Christian or a Jew, because not all Palestinians are Muslim. And certainly you can look at the Palestinian people and you don't see anything like, you know, the ISIS extremist interpretation of that. And like I say, you want a true understanding of Islam, the progressive, actual Islam that is these Zionists hope to crush, because they don't want it to gain a foothold anywhere in this world, and certainly not in Britain. Then you will understand, you know, that this is a war against our humanity, and it's a war against our sense and sanity. So, you know, God bless to Shady Anderson and all his family and all his friends and supporters. God bless to the good, caring, compassionate people of Britain. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for your children's rights. We can make this world a better place. Have faith. Know it.